It is very important for this class that you manage your digital life. We're going to be looking at many different resources that you might want to keep track of, and also you're going to be creating several accounts and you'll need to keep track of your passwords. So um, first, let's look at keeping track of your resources. There's some different things that you can use to keep track of your resources, but I'm going to suggest using Diigo. It is actually a bookmark website, so if you keep track of your bookmarks on your computer, this is something that's similar to that, only it's online, so you get to it no matter where you are. What we're going to do is create a Diigo account and create a group so that we can all share resources with each other. To do that, you're going to go to diigo.com, D-I-I-G-O, and create an account. And creating this account then will allow you to save all of your resources. What I do is I have a bookmark here, a Diigo bookmark, as you can see right here. And what this will do is let me put my bookmarks anytime I get to a good resource, whether I'm on a website or maybe I'm in an email and someone's giving me a resource, I can keep track of it right away. It's a good idea to get in the habit of saving those resources as soon as you access them in order to be able to find them later. So to do that, let's just say I have a resource that I want to save. Let's say VoiceThread, and I want to save this resource. What I can do is in my Diigo account, I can go and save the bookmark. So what you will see here in Diigo, I can choose add a bookmark here. And when I add the bookmark, I'm going to paste the URL. So I'll go to VoiceThread, take that URL and copy it, go back to Diigo and paste it. It will find it, and here I can name this, and here I can put whatever I want in here to remind myself what that is. It's a good idea to put tags in there. And then I just choose add the bookmark. When I do that, now you'll see it's right here in my list. And I can come back to Diigo at any time and I can search by tags, or I can just look and see these are the things that I've bookmarked lately. But it's really helpful as you start to collect resources over time. And let's say I want to look at all the social studies resources I've collected. I can start to type in social studies, here it is, and when I choose that and I search, I'll get to all the social studies resources that I've collected over time. So this is a great tool, and we're going to be using it for our class. In fact, we are going to have a group, so I made a group, and the group is called EdTech Spring 2014. I will invite you to this group, and then you'll be part of the group, so whatever you bookmark and add to this group, we'll all be able to see. This way we'll be able to share our resources. So Diigo.com is what we're going to use to keep track of our resources. There's other tools that we can use. Pinterest is another one that I love, and I use that to keep track of my resources. But Diigo's the one we're going to be using for this class. Now the other thing that you're going to need to do is to create some kind of a password management system other than writing it down on a piece of paper, because those pieces of paper get lost or we don't always have them when we need them. So there are different ways that we can keep track of this information, and I'll show you a couple so that you can make your choice. You're not going to be sharing this with anyone because these are your personal passwords, but you should have a system so that you won't get into trouble and, like it says here, stuck in password hell. Oftentimes when I'm working with teachers or students, they forget their passwords, so you need to have some kind of a system for creating your passwords and for saving them. So I'll show you first what I use because it's free and it's easy to access, and that is just Google Drive. So within Google Drive, what I do is create a spreadsheet. So I choose Create Spreadsheet and name it something. Don't name it password, and don't put the word password anywhere in this file. I call it remember, or I refer to it as my brain file that will remember these. So I'm going to name it brain, And then here we have to have the name of the account, so or the website, and here is going to be the username, and this is the column I use for passwords, but I don't use the word passwords, and here I'll put the web link. So anytime I create a new account, let's say for VoiceThread, I put my username in here, and if it has to do with an email address, I might just use a code here. It's most likely that no one's ever going to access this, but we always would rather be safe than sorry, and I don't use this for things like bank accounts, but it's for things like VoiceThread, things that I use for school. So if it's my work email, I just put a W, and if it's my UB email, I might just put UB, or if it's my home email, I'll put a H. Sometimes it will just have a username that's not associated with an email, and then I'll put the username in there. Here's where I'll put my password, and often I don't know if you use the same password over, which is not really a great idea, or I change my passwords over time. So I have a certain password that I use that's always the same and then add a different ending over time. So I might just put the ending and not the whole password here, just in case. It's not likely that anyone would get a hold of this file, but I certainly wouldn't want them to. So I might use a certain beginning, and that's something that I wouldn't reveal, and then just put, say, a 14 at the end, because that might be what I use at the end of my certain beginning, even sometimes a symbol or two. So that would be my password, and that's really a clue to my password. And then here, I'll put the link. So here's where I would put www.voicethread.com. And then later, if I need to access that password, I can click here and go to VoiceThread, and I'll remember my login and my password for that. So you should do this for all of the accounts that we'll be creating for this class, and every time you create an account, excluding bank accounts, PayPal, those kinds of things. So that's one thing you can do, is create a file for within Google Drive. This is one file that you will not be sharing with anyone, so you won't be clicking that and sharing it out with anyone. There are also many other websites that you can use, or password management tools. And if you just do a Google search for password management tools, it will give you some suggestions here. So if I go here, the 10 top password management tools, you can look at each one, and there's 11 different pages here that you can go through and read through the different password management tools like LastPass. Some of them cost money. This one is free for your desktop, $12 a year for mobile. And like I said, Google Drive is free, or you can choose an app or a website that's going to manage your passwords. Just follow the directions on the site, and you'll be able to manage your passwords. So it's really important that you do both of these things for our class and for the rest of your technology life, to manage that, to have a place to keep your resources, keep track of them, and to keep track of your accounts and your passwords. So good luck doing this, and it will make your life a little easier if you do both of these things. And as always, if you have any questions, feel free to ask.